Welcome to a reality check in defining your quarterly priority and success plan using a process that I use called Close the Gap, which is a way that I create 90-day business priorities and success plans. And what you're going to go with over with me here today is I'm going to show you an audit of my Q3 priority and success plan so that I can show you how I am planning my Q4 priority and success path during this session. And so you are in the right place. If you are looking for some insight or some perspective to help you refine, or maybe just how to get started with defining your 90-day business objective and achievement strategy. So if you are here now or watching in replay later, I would recommend that you take notes. And when we are all done, this replay will be available as part of the playlist here on YouTube for the Creative on Purpose broadcast. And it will also be available in the Solopreneur Success Secrets playlist. So just a quick warning and some rules of engagement here. So obviously, those of you that are already here know this about me already. I do tend to go over a lot of information fast, which is why I want you to take notes and why I'm making the replay available. I would encourage you to keep an open mind, practice restraint when it comes to leaping to conclusions or just trying to validate the beliefs or assumptions that you already have, and take responsibility for any triggers or challenges to your belief system that come from what I call empathetic antagonism. I'm going to be as generous and kind as I can possibly be, but that's different from being nice. I'm not here to be agreeable, and I'm not here to simply provide an insight or two. I am here to help you take intentional action with integrity to your values and talents and the people that you want to serve so that you can actually make progress in your endeavor as a purpose-driven solopreneur that is seeking to make a bigger impact and a better living at the same time. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to a screen share, and I'm going to show you go through some principles and some philosophy stuff. We're going to go into the actual strategy that I'm using, and then we'll also talk about some tools and tactics stuff. So if at any point you have questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. And with that, let's get to the screen share. Okay. If you would please just let me know if you can see my screen. It looks to me like I can see it. Can you see my document, October to December 2025? If you would just drop that in the chat, I'd appreciate just confirming that you can see what I'm trying to share. Again, this is my first time on YouTube Live. Okay, thank you, Emma. Thank you, Paul. It looks like everybody can see. A quick sip of coffee. All right. So I'd like to call this process, what got you where you are won't get you where you want to be. Okay. What got you here won't get you there. If you are trying to close the gap with greater ease and velocity between where you are and where you want to be with your business, and you wake up every single day repeating what you did yesterday, then it is unlikely that you're going to get any different results. What we have to do on some sort of regular basis is take a look back and assess and analyze what we have been working on so that we can make sure that we're clear about the system that we're currently using, that we are eliminating the things that don't work, that we are improving the things that do work, starting with the things that are the least effective and efficient. So, in general, what I have found is that solopreneurs, purpose-driven solopreneurs, we are very focused on the generosity and the making a difference aspect of things. And sometimes that means that we are actually over-delivering or delivering uh, mistaking productivity for progress, and we're not actually paying attention to the system that we have, because every system is perfectly designed to get the results it gets. If you have a system that is not currently giving you results that you want in terms of impact or revenue or client attraction or what have you, and you're not thinking about how you can iterate and improve that system, you're going to be disappointed. It's a little delusional to think that you can just keep doing what you've been doing and somehow miraculously things will change. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to define your next most immediate business priority and draft your solopreneur success plan so that, and to do that, we must first clarify your current ideal lifestyle and identify where you're at and what you have in terms of how close you are, what the gap actually is between where you are and where you want to be with ideal lifestyle. And then uh, we have to own that so that we can start to generate the outcomes we want. So we're not trying to, and so we're going to start here with is the big picture, the macro vision. We're all in business to make a difference, of course. But if that difference doesn't fund and fit the lifestyle that we built our business for in the first place, it's not sustainable. So what we want to do is, again, I recommend on a quarterly basis. You can do it on a semi-annual or a monthly, whatever works for you. You want to assess where you're at in terms with your business's ability to fund and fit your life vision. And so we're not trying to solve the meaning of life here. We're just trying to get a good enough grasp of what a meaningful and fulfilling life looks like to us, and uh, given who you are, what you know, and where you are right now. So here are some of the questions that I find can help. What does it look and feel like when you're playing your game on your terms without compromise? What does the game you are currently playing look and feel like? What activities, attitude, and behavior got you where you are? So we're assessing our current situation. What's the life that our business is currently funding and fitting around? And how does that measure up against the vision? If we have enough clarity about that, then we can establish philosophically what we assert or believe will help us close the gap. And so what I'm going to do is use myself as an example. So what you will see here is that I have this lifestyle statement that I recommend people use as a way of defining a specific and sufficient lifestyle, ideal lifestyle statement. I know that I am living my ideal lifestyle when, and for me, I know I'm living my ideal lifestyle when I can spend my weekdays from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. caring for my grandsons. And then the second half of the statement is, to accomplish this, I will need to work fewer than 10 hours per week and earn at least $60,000 per year. Notice the specificity and sufficiency of that statement. I'm not putting out some sort of random arbitrary money goal that I have to hit. I'm not trying to earn $10,000 a month or $20,000 a month. I'm not trying to make $1 million. I know exactly how much I need to earn on an annual basis to take care of my financial responsibilities and leave enough slack to do the things that make life enjoyable for me. And that number is not $100,000 a year or $1 million a year. For me, that is $60,000 a year, because my wife and I don't carry any debt in terms of mortgage or car payments or anything like that. Very low credit card debt. We live in a very rural area where things are reasonably inexpensive compared to other places in the world. If we make $60,000 a year, we're going to be in great shape. And by setting that as an annual goal, it has really helped us become more creative about how do we reach that number as quickly as possible, because the sooner that we can reach that number, the more time we have to explore other opportunities, other options, or just enjoy the life that we created our businesses to fund and fit around. Turns out for the last 2 years that earning my annual revenue number has happened sometime in the middle of June, which means that before the year is half over, we have everything locked away, locked in for covering our financial responsibilities and entertainment for the rest of the year. So you do your math, you do your recapture, reallocate, audit. What's the number that you need to fund and fit the life that you want? And then what does it look like when you are living that ideal vision? With your lifestyle priority clarified enough to provide direction, you can now establish your next SMART objective: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. I'm using a 90-day objective. Again, you can do this on a monthly or bi-monthly or biannual basis, whatever works for you. But that SMART goal must be based on principles, things you know to be true. And then reasoning from first principles and using system thinking and system reliability, you can then start to think about micro-stepping your way into your next most immediate business priority. So the second thing is defining the path that you're currently on. So for those of you that are circle members or inner circle members, which are the two different paid tiers of the Transcendent Solopreneurship publication, or my Cornerman coaching or Boxer Velocity clients, those are the two coaching offers. There's usually two choices when we're thinking about what category is my business priority going to fund or fit into. If you are just getting started or it's still fairly early days in establishing your business and the systems that will help you create the revenue that you need, it might be establishing or refining your forever offer, or it might be establishing or refining your Be a Blessing marketing web or audience connection and attraction system. Okay, so if you don't currently have some sort of offer, then it's hard to make a living if you don't have something to sell. So figure out what does the offer look like. The forever offer is a very specific type of approach. It's very different from power offers or no-brainer offers. We have trainings on that. If that's new information to you, you can look at the Substack and search the Transcendent Solopreneurship Substack to find out what a forever offer looks and sounds like, and what a Be a Blessing marketing web looks and sound like. For a lot of the people in this room and for all of my clients, they have a offer, they have identified their audience, they have some sort of system in place for attracting the right people in their audience to become leads and then become clients. And so what we're doing is we're creating a priority based on closing the gap. How do we optimize our client attraction system? So decide for yourselves where you're at currently. Am I still working on my offer? Am I still working on my audience? Or am I working on optimizing my system to turn prospects into leads and leads into clients? The next step is you have to identify the most immediate bottleneck. And I use the word bottleneck very specifically and intentionally because a bottleneck is different than a constraint. As solopreneurs, we all operate within the same constraints. We have the same amount of time in any given day, 24 hours. We have the same amount, not the same amount because we all have different temperament and tolerances, but we have a finite amount of ability to pay attention to stay focused and a finite amount of energy to invest in our business activities, making sure we take care of our other business or life priorities, right? So the constraints that we have are time, attention, money, and effort are finite. We're not entrepreneurs with unlimited venture capital that we can leverage, with employees that we can use to augment or amplify the amount of time we have in a day and the amount of energy and the amount of attention. We're working with an extremely finite amount of time, attention, money, and effort. And so we have to manage ourselves within the constraints of 24 hours in a day, and only so much time and energy can be invested in any task at any given time. Bottlenecks are what's the most immediate, what's the thing that's holding us back right now? So, again, circling back to what we said earlier, if your offer isn't validated yet, that's your constraint. You don't have an offer. Get the offer right first. If you're if you have a validated offer, but your marketing web is too confusing or too complicated, and by marketing web, I'm just talking about what's the system that you're using to have the conversations with people that will lead the right people to become clients. And if you don't have that web clearly established, which is, going to be a part of your system of client attraction, then that's your most immediate constraint. You have to clarify the system. You have to clarify how you're getting the word out and where are you having the conversations that lead the right people to become prospects and then leads and then clients. And if you have a validated offer and a validated audience and a system that is getting some people to uh, purchase your offer, then it's a close the gap situation where you are trying to optimize your client attraction system. And so whatever that is, whether it's your offer, your audience, or your client attraction system, identify what your biggest bottleneck is, where it is. Some things that can help. And again, for those of you that are inner circle members, we covered this at the beginning of Q3. It's called "What Got You Here Won't Get You There." It's in the Inner Circle All Access Vault. You can look at the last training and have access to all the worksheets, GPT prompts, and so forth. But for a refresher, 3 questions that you can use to help you define your most immediate constraint. What's the smallest move that will create the greatest improvement? Is there an optimization strategy that you already have traction in that if you just improved one thing would give you an outsized return on investment? A little asymmetry in terms of the risk to reward. Another question that you can, and this isn't really a question, but this is impossible unless, right? Sometimes our limited thinking and our false narratives, false beliefs, cognitive distortions, and biases get in our way. And we'll just say, well, I can't get there. So instead, look around. Are there people that are doing what you're trying to accomplish? How are they doing it? This is impossible unless I have an offer, a validated offer. This is impossible unless I have an audience that's eager to buy the thing that I want to sell. This is impossible unless I can optimize the system that is already working but needs to work better. And then the third question is, which move has the worst case scenario? In other words, given all the things that you could do, which move has the least amount of risk and the greatest amount of upside potential? And that will help you define what your next micro step is. That will help you identify that this is the bottleneck I'm identifying, and I'm going to figure out how to identify that bottleneck. Another process that I use is reverse engineering the option. So if you have an ideal lifestyle vision, put it out 10, 5, 3 years in the future, whatever you think is reasonable, achievable, and then what has to happen this year? What has to happen this quarter? What has to happen this month? What has to happen this week? What has to happen this day or tomorrow? If you kind of work backwards, you can start to define the thing that you probably need to do today or tomorrow in order to start to close the gap. And then the final process that I use, and this is what I'm using now because I have a system in place that I'm just trying to optimize, is to check the rearview mirror. Look at the data. Again, if you don't have a system established, then your goal this quarter is establish a system that provides you with data that you can analyze, measure, and optimize to close the gap. And so that is the process that I'm currently using. I'm going to pause here for just a second, see if there's any. Cool. So we have some folks in the chat saying I'm still working on my offer. Great. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging and recognizing that I need to get the first step right, because if you're trying to engineer the process without an offer and audience in place, you don't have a process. So all that work that you're doing on tools and tactics and strategy that doesn't have any fundamental uh, foundation in the audience that you seek to serve and the way in which the offer, the product or service that you have that will help them, it's a fool's errand. All right. So if you have your offer, if you don't have an offer, get the offer good enough to start testing with an audience clearly defined enough to set up a system that's good enough to start to give you some numbers that you can start to measure. So I appreciate that, Shannon. Okay, so getting back to my check in the rearview mirror. So if you saw the training that I did, which was exactly the same as this in terms of the content, I had established a system for getting people to become to start a conversation with me with what I call an icebreaker question, to go through a diagnostic, and the icebreaker and the diagnostic are all done for free. It's something that I do instead of some silly lead magnet checklist, blueprint formula, whatever. I'm not using any of the usual digital marketer tricks or hacks. I'm not, creating some sort of arbitrary funnel with a lead magnet that jams people into an email sequence that uses a nurture sequence and false scarcity and urgency to get them to a landing page and then purchase the thing. Your typical digital marketing funnel, which is very labor intensive. You have to invest time in lead magnets and landing pages and email sequences or silly DM conversations with people that are probably never going to buy anything from you, and wasting all sorts of time on social media, and just the content grind that it takes to do all that, plus all the time invested in funnel hacking and tweaking and iterating a funnel that at best has a 2% conversion rate. That's why I am spending so much time now railing against digital marketing, online gurus, and what I call digital marketing BS. Doesn't mean that I'm saying all digital marketing tools and tactics are BS. It's not true. I have used digital marketing tools and tactics to great effect. And although I was able to employ a funnel and Facebook ads or LinkedIn DM strategy to accomplish 10K per month goals, what I figured out is, number one, it forced me to create a business that I didn't really care for, working with people I didn't really care about, and spending 80 to 90% of the time in my business, which was at least 10 hours a day, doing things that I didn't like doing, digital marketing crap. What I have since decided or since created is a system that doesn't require any digital marketing BS. I don't have a funnel. I don't have a lead magnet. I don't have an email sequence. I don't spend any time on social media other than what's available on Substack. In fact, I deactivated all of my social media accounts other than Facebook, or I'm sorry, other than Substack. And I am working less than 2 hours a day and earning my annual revenue goal before the year is half over. Okay. And so the last time that we went through this process, I showed you my process: icebreaker to diagnostic, diagnostic to low ticket offer to high ticket offer. And what I showed you in that, in fact, I'll just go ahead and you're going to see the results right here. What I found is that actually, let's see if I can do this. If I go here, I'm going to double check. Great. So now you're looking at my last 90-day worksheet. 90-day priority and plan. So what happened was I had a free to paid subscriber conversion rate of 5%. I used an AI generated first step for the icebreaker question called the business focus helper that led people into a low ticket offer. And that upgrade percentage was 30%. So I got paid $100 for doing what people usually do through their free funnel. And then I upgraded five of the 12 people that purchased the low ticket offer into the high ticket offer. So I had an eight going from here's how many people came into the funnel to here's how many people purchased the thing. I had an 8% conversion rate. And you might be saying, well, that doesn't sound very good. Compared to a 2% conversion rate, which is the norm, 8% is a 4x return on investment. So I was doing, by industry standards, very well with the system that I had. As I analyzed the numbers from that last quarter, the priority that I set for myself based on the information that I just showed you is that the conversion rate from low ticket to high ticket was where the bottleneck was. That percentage, there was a big gap between the number of people that bought the low ticket thing to the people that bought the high ticket thing. So I decided that my priority was I'm going to put a mid ticket offer in between the low ticket and the high ticket to see if I can boost my revenue by getting more people, a greater percentage of people, to purchase something that is less expensive, but still something that makes a significant boost to my bottom line revenue. So this past quarter in Q3, I had, at the end of the Q3, I had 1,136 free subscribers, 51 paid, which is a 4.5% conversion rate from free to paid, which is a drop from my last quarter. And I actually know why that is. And it was because I had some very enthusiastic folks that were coming into the community and gifting multiple people subscriptions to the publication for a month. And then most of those people did not stay with the subscription after that month. So it was a great indication of Allegiance Capital people that were subscribing, loved it so much that they were telling their friends, but their friends that were gifted a subscription didn't become engaged subscribers, so they didn't continue their subscription. So my percentage here went down a little bit. It's still 2x over some of the best conversion rates that I've seen on Substack. Most of the people that are have bestseller badges are converting about 2% or less of their free subscribers into paid subscribers. So not doing as great as last time, still doing great overall, not the primary source of my concern. What I also did last quarter was I eliminated the AI first step and took it on personally. And so my icebreaker requests, well, these are people that are raising their hand and saying, yes, Scott, I would like to answer a couple of questions so that you will help me get a little bit clearer on what I'm trying to accomplish and what my biggest obstacle is. I had 42 people request the icebreaker questions. 31 of them responded. That's a 74% conversion rate on my first step. Now, if you look at the numbers on how many people hit a lead magnet page to opt in, 74% is nuts. But here's the thing that's even more interesting. I further broke down those numbers between free and paid subs. It turned out, for whatever reason, 21 free subs responded to the icebreaker, 21 paid subs. And if you look at the paid subscription rate, it's insane. 95% of my paid subscribers who asked for the icebreaker and responded to it, 95% of them asked for and responded. 52% of free subscribers did. Still better, way better than any typical digital marketing funnel. Once people answer the icebreaker, they're invited into a slightly deeper additional free step, which is what I call the diagnostic process. I provide a 5-question assessment that will help them get more clarity about where they're actually trying to get to, where they're actually starting and what they're starting with, and will actually map out a path that will get them there. For free, for people that answer the 5-question diagnostic, will give them a roadmap. Here's how you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. And now that goal is clearly established as a SMART objective. And we know exactly where you're starting, what you're starting with, what you can stop doing, and what you need to do better to get there. And you can see the numbers here. Again, my paid subscribers, 90% of the people that requested the Catalyst Exchange, the 5 questions, responded to those 5 questions. Nuts. Okay, 64% of the free subscribers did. Again, not as good, but certainly high. The next step in my process, my client acquisition process, is to invite people that complete the Catalyst Exchange to upgrade to a $100 2-week 5-email exchange to get traction with the roadmap I just presented them. 72% overall opted in, which means now I'm getting paid for my client attraction process. I'm actually getting paid to vet prospects by turning them into leads. And you can see the numbers. Okay, now 43% of free subscribers upgraded to the low ticket offer. 83% of paid subscribers upgraded to the low ticket offer. And now the next step is to, after they get some traction and momentum with the paid Inbox Catalyst coaching by email program, they're invited into Voxer Velocity, which is a mid-ticket coaching over email. Daily, Voxer Velocity clients get daily access to me, daily coaching over the Voxer app using either voice or text, or I guess video if they want to. And what happened is I didn't get any free subscribers to upgrade, but I did get 47% of paid subscribers to upgrade. What does this mean overall? The people that ask for the icebreakers, that's the very top of, if you want to think about it, of my funnel. That's the very beginning of my client attraction process. I prefer to not think of it as a funnel because it's not a funnel in the way that digital marketers usually talk about a funnel. So based on the number of people that enter here and the number of people that come out as paid clients here, my paid subscriber conversion rate is now 33%. That's up from a 8% conversion rate to the high ticket offer. So essentially, compared to the usual 2%, instead of 2 out of every 100 people that enter a conversation with me converting into becoming clients, I now have 33 out of every 100 people that enter a conversation with me at the beginning coming out as paid clients at the end. And so that's the interest to client. This is the prospect to client conversion rate. So this is if after they've paid for the diagnostic. Okay. Based on all of that data and analyzing all that data, I actually did something that I do not recommend for anybody. I'm actually, for the first time ever, going to focus on 2 priorities. And you've all heard me rail against, priority is a singular word. You can't have priorities because a priority by definition is the one and only most important thing. But one of the reasons why I got more detailed in my analysis between the free and paid subscribers is because I know that one of the things I can do, the most important thing that I need to do, is get people to go from paying into the low ticket inbox catalyst offer to convert to Voxer velocity. I'm not struggling with lead generation or early engagement. The constraint right now is retention and expansion. It's at the end of the process. How do I get more people that paid me already for a plan to pay me more additionally into a recurring coaching program, monthly coaching program, where they can close the gap with greater ease and velocity? That's where I'm going to pay attention. Secondarily, when I can, if I can, I know that if I can get more of my free subscribers to become paid subscribers, once they become paid subscribers, it is much more likely that they will enter the client attraction system, and a good percentage of them will become clients through that process. So looking at my open rates and looking at my conversion rate on free to paid, it's not a question of visibility, it's a question of activation. I need more readers to feel the gap, to feel the tension between the free experience and the paid experience, so that more of them upgrade to the paid experience. And so my Q4 priority is I need to raise the floor on lead and prospect conversion. I want more of the people that became leads by enrolling in the low ticket inbox catalyst program to become clients and enter the Voxer velocity program. And so I'm going to try to get from 47% to 70%. And secondarily, I want to get instead of 4.5% of free subscribers to upgrade to paid, I'm going to attempt to reach 7% conversion, okay, which most of the Substack gurus and digital marketers would say is impossible because it's not a number that people are hitting. Another just quick caveat here. When I'm talking about my free to paid subscriber ratio, there are no gift or comped subscriptions there. A lot of the people that are getting this, like I got a bestseller badge in 3 months. I know from looking and talking to them that they are doing a lot of trading on the back end, giving people complimentary paid subscriptions in exchange for something. I'm trying to do mine completely clean. I want my bestseller badge to reflect the fact that I, without any digital marketing gimmickry or tricks or shenanigans, got people to see the value in what I have to share and pay $9 a month or $7.50 with an annual program to learn the purpose-driven prosperity model so that they can build a business that better funds and fits the life that they want. All right, so that brings us to this last step. Now that I've collected the data, analyzed the data, my Q4 priority statement is, I know I'm being successful when I increase my paid lead conversion rate by 67%, from 47 to 70, and my free to paid subscriber conversion rate by 64%, from 4.5 to 7%. And I will need, in order to accomplish this by December 31st, I will need to spend less than an hour. Now, at this point, it's time to get into the meat and potatoes of how I plan on accomplishing this. I'm actually not going to go through that with you right now because I don't want you to get caught up in trying to replicate my process. So I'm going to end the stream here. I will just tell you, whoops, not end the stream. I want to end the share. Sorry. It was almost a disaster. Okay. All I'm doing to optimize my system this quarter is I am improving my calls to action in the above the fold or above the paywall CTA, but for free subscribers, so that they will opt in to continue reading by becoming a paid subscriber. And the only thing I'm doing with paid subscribers is also the same thing. I'm helping highlight and amplify the gap between, hey, you didn't know where you were going or how you were going to get there. Through this free process and this diagnostic, I helped you see that. You opt in for this low ticket roadmap and traction plan, And then my goal is that in that next step, how do I get more of the right people to opt in for the next step, which is Vox or Velocity or the corner man coaching. So that's just kind of an overview of the plan. Here's my big takeaways for you all. And at this point, I want to this is we're going to start wrapping it up. I have a few minutes to hang out to answer questions before we get on the Circle community call, Friday on Purpose call. So if you have questions, ask them now. Um, here's what you need to think about, and here's what 90% of you will not do. You need to get clear about what you're actually trying to accomplish. You need to define that as a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound goal. And you need to define your current strategy, and you need to collect the numbers, you need to collect the data. And I hear it over and over and over again. Oh, I don't like data. I'm not good with data. I don't like spreadsheets. I'm not, I'm an instinctive and intuitive business owner. Great. If it's working for you, fantastic. If you're earning what you want to earn on a monthly basis and doing it in the amount of time that you want to spend in your business, fantastic. I would like to hire you as my coach. But if you are not closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be in terms of the amount of time that you're spending and the quality of the people that you're working with and the kind of work that you want to be doing, and you're just going to continue to randomly try tools and tactics and strategies that come from online gurus and digital marketers, you're not going to get anywhere closer to what you want. In fact, you're going to get further away because you're going to spend more time by adding things to a system that's already not working. System reliability says scientifically, mathematically, that if you want to optimize a system, you have to eliminate as many unnecessary components as possible, and you have to boost the efficiency and effectiveness of the most underperforming elements of that system. There is not a single person watching this that can't create a thriving, prosperous, purpose-driven business that fills your life with significance and meaning and a sense of fulfillment and prosperity by just getting three things right. You need an offer that is irresistible enough, a promise that you can keep, doing work that you love with an audience that is clearly defined, people that you care about, and having a system for putting that offer in front of that audience. You need an irresistible offer, an eager audience, and a system for putting that offer in front of that audience. If you don't have the offer yet, that's your most immediate, that's your bottleneck. If you don't know your audience yet, that's your biggest bottleneck. If you have an offer and an audience and you have a way of putting that offer in front of that audience, you need to list out all the steps. So if you want to take what I just shared and continue to DIY it, I think just having clarity of the philosophy and principles behind what it actually takes to create a thriving, prosperous business will help you. If you would like to have me help you with this process, the best thing that you can do if you're a free subscriber or not yet a subscriber is become a paid subscriber for $9 a month or $90 a year, which translates to $750 a month. You have access to all of the training. If you come in at the founder level as an inner circle member, you will actually get all the complete training and the three core frameworks: forever offer, be a blessing marketing, and close the gap client attraction. Worksheets to help you clarify your offer audience and game plan for client attraction, and GPT prompts and a coaching GPT built on my intellectual property, which means I can coach you any minute of any given day, and I'll give you the prompts that will help you clarify your forever offer, define your be a blessing marketing web, and your client attraction system. And if you want to accelerate that process, and you want to close collapse time to target with greater ease and velocity, I'm happy to talk to you about the possibility for uh, joining Boxer Velocity or close the Cornerman coaching. Right now, technically, both of those programs are full. I am considering probably no more than three additional Boxer opening, no more than three Boxer Velocity seats. Probably can't offer any additional cornerman coaching seats, but maybe could make room for one. Um, and I would, if that's of interest to you, this is not some sort of false scarcity thing. This is all of my programs are currently operating at capacity based on the amount of time that I'm currently investing with 7 Vox or Velocity clients and 3 Cornerman coaching clients. I think I can realistically add at least 3 Vox or Velocity clients, maybe 1 Cornerman coaching. So if you're ready to get real about achieving the kind of business that will fund and fit the lifestyle that you started your business for in the first place, those are options. And with that, I guess we're going to wrap it up. I don't see any questions, but I would love for those of you that are still here, and it looks like people got added while we were in the middle. Was this helpful? Does it is it clear what you need to do in terms of you know defining your most immediate bottleneck, the priority, which should become the priority that you're going to address this quarter? And do you have a way of do you have data that you can analyze? And if you don't have data that you can analyze, then your most immediate constraint is figure out the system that will give you the data that you need to analyze. Awesome. Elizabeth says that her process is changing, so this is great. Shannon says that she did get some help. Emma says she did get some help, and that is always my intention, is to be helpful and useful. Again, this process will work if you do the work. Uh, if you are a person that is currently buying into a self-fulfilling narrative that you're not a data person, or you're not the kind of person that can strategize or do this kind of work, then you're going to continue to get the results that you're getting. Anybody, and I know this from direct personal experience because some of you are here in the chat, some of you that came to me saying that you're not a spreadsheet person or a data person or a systems person, have become one and have been getting better results, getting you closer to the business that you want, the kind of business that can fund and fit the kind of lifestyle that you want. So again, it works if you do the work. And so that's my final message to you all: is this is a system that has worked forever, long before there was digital marketing of any kind. This is the exact system that I actually, even though I didn't define it this way, I used to have a successful career as a performing musician, to have a successful career as a guitar studio owner and teacher. And it has helped me create a coaching business that allows me to fund and fit the lifestyle I want, which is spending all day, every day with my grandkids and my wife, uh, by working less than 10 hours a week and earning the income I need in less than half a year. And it can do the same for you if you're willing to lean in and do the work. All right. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate. Paul says your system is becoming more and more clear. Thank you for the vision and ability to teach it. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. The gift of your time and attention is precious to me. I'm glad that you're here. This replay will be available. I'll probably make some resources available for the Inner Circle All Access Vault for those of you that are founding subscribers. And if you're ready to take a bolder step into possibility by becoming a subscriber, or better, a paid subscriber, you'll get a lot more than what you pay for inside the Inner Circle or Circle community. So with that, be well, do good, have fun, have a great weekend, and I'm going to see a lot of you in just a few minutes on the Friday on Purpose call. Thanks very much.